Happy 1st of December. I can't believe we're in December already. What? But that only means one thing. Let's do my November reading wrap up. I read 7 books in November and I'm so excited. I had some really banging 5-star reads this month. So let's get into it. Let's talk about them. The first 2 books I read in tandem was Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. And I was blown away. This whole series, this is my first time reading Throne of Glass, and my heart and soul belongs to this series. I cannot explain to you how much this series has changed my life. It has rewired my brain, and Kingdom of Ash is waiting for me to read this month. This is going to be the month. This is going to be the month that I finish Throne of Glass, and I am scared. I am scared, to say the least, to read Kingdom of Ash. I've seen people's reactions. And I am nervous. Like, oh, if we lose Rowan, oh, please. Anyway, let's just focus on the now tabs. These books together, absolute masterpiece. And when I come to reread the series, which I definitely will, I'll read these singularly just to see how I feel. But I think I can still appreciate how special each of these books were. This one was very much more fast-paced. Like, you could definitely tell that it was more faster paced. A lot of happening. There's so much happening in both of these books. This one, like, I'm not the massivest fan. I'm not the most hugest fan of Kale, but I can still appreciate the message this had in and the journey he went through. And it was just so beautiful. So beautiful. I loved it. I loved every second of reading these. I've really been trying not to go through this entire series too quickly. I think I started in... When did I start? September. Yeah. I started in September this year. And I've read like 1 or 2 of them a month, maybe 1. Just trying to drag it out. And then I've been reading other books, obviously, in between it. Because it can get quite heavy. That's the way I would recommend to do it to anyone new starting Throne of Glass. But read ACOTAR first. That's the deal. But these 2 books, absolutely banging. Loved both of them together. I would recommend, even if it's your first time through, this is my first time, read them in tandem, because both of these storylines, if you didn't know, happen at the exact same time. So what's happening in Empire of Storms is happening in Tower of Dawn at the same time. So you're like flitting back and forth to do 2 different storylines. It's amazing. And it's very unique, and I loved it. Loved. 5-star. You can't, I'm sorry, you can't read Throne of Glass and not give them a 5-star. I think I gave Throne of Glass, the actual book itself, a 4-star read. Now listen, I'm going to say it. Throne of Glass, the book on its own, when you first started reading this series, I didn't think crazy much of it. I loved it, don't get me wrong. I loved it, really enjoyed it. But I wasn't like blown away. I wasn't like, oh, you know. I read then Assassin's Blade and thought, this is going to be a very special series. I get it. As the series goes on, you're just more and more blown away. The characters change more and more. I could sit here and talk about Throne of Glass, but I think I need to do a whole separate video on that. So let's move on. The next book I read after the huge mammoth task that was these 2 books together, it was Flawless by Elsie Silver. This book is so much more than a romance book, and I'm ashamed to say it was my first cowboy romance. I know, it's terrible, isn't it? Yeah, I've never read a cowboy romance, and Elsie Silver, the queen that she is, I can't wait to meet Cade in the next book. I've heard great things. This book was great. This book, full 5-star. Very unusual for me to rate a romance book a full 5-star, may I just say. But this had such a deeper meaning than just like a cowboy romance. I am such a huge advocate for choosing your partner in life is incredibly important. More important than probably any of the decisions you're going to make in life. You can buy a house with the wrong person. You can go on holiday with the wrong person. Who you choose to spend the way Rhett and Summer in this book bring out different parts of their personality and help them to grow and learn through each other is really special. And I loved this. This was a great time. Perfect book. No comments. No criticisms. Read it if you haven't. I put off this because I was like, well, we're in autumn winter now. There's no point starting a cowboy romance when I'm just going to be yearning to go on a ranch in America. But no, you can read this anytime. Read the book. So good. Loved it. Okay, and my next book, I got approached by Daniele Vocarro on TikTok, and he sent me a copy of his short story called One Way Ticket to Earth. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm not really one for short stories. You know, I want to sit down for a few hours. This book was so special and really unique. It really caught me by surprise. Again, another 4-star read. It's basically about a... If you can hear that, that's my dog. Say hi. This is Aria, and she makes funny noises, so ignore that. But she just loves to be part of the book chat. Anyway, this story is about love. It's about grief. It's about death. It's quite a heavy story, but it's beautiful. It's basically this boy who dies when he's a child and ends up waking up on a different planet. He's reincarnated, and it goes through all of the emotions of how the parents felt, how the child's feeling, how he's trying to get back to Earth because he knows where he's from, where other people who have been reincarnated don't. They don't have that memory. He ends up getting back to Earth and finding his mum and finding out something else has happened whilst he's been gone. And it's a really important story about having to trust the process and knowing where you belong and death and grief. It was great. I really enjoyed it. If you want something short and sweet and something that's going to hit you emotionally, read One Way Ticket to Earth. The next book I read in November was sent to me by Whimsy Words PR, and it was a book called Annarite Born by R.B. Leyland. It's basically a fantasy story about going into a war. I've got to be honest, I didn't enjoy it. I gave it a 2-star. It felt like it was trying to be somewhat like Game of Thrones vibey. The prologue, the opening chapter or 2 were really good. I loved it. I loved how we were straight into the chaos. It was written really well. And then I found myself falling in and out of the story and not really following and not being pulled along. I was kind of just being shown what's happening and not really given that emotional connection to the characters or the storyline or the why behind everything happening. But if you were after something that's more a slow builder, then I think you'd possibly quite enjoy it, but it wasn't really for me. The next book I read was none other than Quicksilver. Okay, let's talk about it because this was not what I was expecting at all. I rated this a 3-star, and I kind of pushed it to a 3-star. Initially, I closed the book and thought, okay, good story. It was a great story, and I immediately gave it a 4-star, not really thinking about it. But as the day went on and I thought about the story and I thought about how it was written, I was actually becoming more and more infuriated. I feel like the story itself had so much potential. It was really good. I really enjoyed the build-up of it. But then it kind of didn't really go anywhere with that. The writing I felt was clunky and a little bit disjointed and a little bit messy and just a bit like, well, we're in a scene and we've just started that scene, and now we're slowly starting to build something, and then boom, she's killed him. And it was just a bit like, what are we doing? What? That was a bit abrupt. And then there was a paragraph in here, in one of the chapters towards the end, where the writing was written as falling. I hate that. I want to feel like I'm falling. I want to feel like I'm the FMC or whoever point of view I'm following. I want to feel that dread and that fear. I don't want it written on the page like a picture. Do you know what I mean? If I wanted that, I'd read a comic. I don't know. I just feel, and Kingfisher. Okay, here we go. Kingfisher. Aria's come for the emotional support. Kingfisher pissed the hell out of me. He's so infuriating. If it was me and I met Kingfisher, I'd be like, okay, initially like a bad boy vibe. I like that. I love that. I can get on board with that. Yes, please. However, I thought he was just a bit of a dick. He was really rude. He was just really pedantic. Why are you being so pedantic? There's being, oh, I don't know. The one character I loved in this was not the MMC, was not the FMC. It was Carrie and Swift. If it wasn't for Carrie and Swift, this book would have been DNF'd, I think. Oh, am I saying it out loud? I didn't enjoy it very much. It was not a bad book. I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. It was okay. It was fine. I felt like it was very much overhyped, unfortunately. And I have Brimstone waiting on my shelf now, and I'm not in a rush to read it. I will read it, but I'm not in a rush. I'm not gagging for the next instalment of this, you know. So we'll see. But I wasn't a huge fan. I read better. But Carrie and Swift, oh my God, what a lad. He's so funny. He's so charismatic. He's got the je ne sais quoi of like a funny bad boy. That's what we needed, I think. And thank God he was in there. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. And the next book, the last book I read, was a recommendation from my dear old friend, Amy. Shout out to her, because this book is special. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. What a book. I was really caught off guard. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It basically follows this girl called Neva, I'm going to say, back in the 1970s, and she's got pregnant out of wedlock and basically sent to a Wayward Girls home. We've all heard of them. It's a bit like the laundries back in the day. Awful, absolutely awful things. But this book, there's so many parallels to how girls are treated and the pressures that they're put under even today, still in this book. Like this, it's so special to read. And the choices that they had to make then, the choices girls still have to make now, even to this day as women, not just girls. And the way that is all, like the trauma and the knowledge that is passed through women's lineage, it's just captured so bloody well in this book. Grady, for a guy to capture like the fear and the pain and the uncertainty that comes with carrying a child, giving birth to a child, what comes after that as well, if you decide not to keep that child, etc., etc., etc. It is captured so damn well, and it's brilliant. It really, really is a brilliant, and it's such a reminder that actually magic is in all of us. I went into this thinking, oh, am I in the mood to kind of listen to some 15-year-olds play witches? You know, probably not. It's not that. It's not that. It's really good, and it's also quite dark and disturbing at times. I was cringing at pages. I was crying in pages. I was on the edge of my seat, ripping the edges of my book. It's such a wild ride and such a good story, and I would recommend this again and again. What a brilliant book. I rated this 4 stars. I might go back and change it to a 5-star the more I think about it, but I finished it today and it's just, what a stunning book. So that was my November reading wrap up. I read 7 books. I had some bangers. I had some not so bangers. But overall, a great month, and I can't wait to dive into December. Come back, make sure you hit the follow, like this video, and comment down below if you've read any of those reads. I cannot wait to get into Kingdom of Ash and some Christmassy reads, so keep your eye out for my December hopefuls.